What is up, you guys? Mate here from Primal Fitness, and yet another day where I'm blessed, absolutely blessed to show you this information that I've been looking for 10 years or more. I've been obsessed with it, and that is how to achieve ultimate strength and ultimate strength, guys. So as you can see from the topic of this video, we're going to talk about strength training and why you absolutely have to indulge into strength training if you actually want to grow to an old age. But not only that, we see so many people grow old, but they are very dependent on other people. They cannot move on their own. They cannot take care of themselves. They cannot do anything. They have low energy, no sex drive, nothing. Actually, I'm here to tell you that all these things are actually, you can be energetic. You can have a lot of energy. You can be perky, whatever one of these perky old men and women. You can achieve that. But if you don't indulge in some sort of strength or resistance training, you are simply likely not going to be there. So guys, let's start off by a medical term that goes by the name of sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is essentially the loss of lean muscle mass or the loss of muscle function over time. The definition is still kind of debated in terms of what actually is a greater predicator of longevity, lack of chronic illness, and things like that. Is it lean muscle mass or is it muscle strength? I would argue, and the science also suggests that it's actually muscle strength. And this kind of makes sense because we have seen a lot of old people that are not necessarily very big, they don't have too much muscle mass, but we do know that they're pretty strong still at an old age. Another thing that we do know is that strength is not necessarily a product of lean muscle mass or the size of the muscle, although lean muscle mass is definitely a factor. Its strength is generally a skill of maximum tension, the ability to generate force. So hypothetically, if we would take two persons that had the same amount of lean muscle mass, one of them could be quite a lot stronger than the other one just because they're able to generate much more force than the other one. Whether the reason behind that is they were genetically more gifted or simply they indulged in some sort of resistance training, it doesn't matter. So why does sarcopenia actually occur? Well, it likely occurs as a result of oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is essentially the accumulation of free radicals within the body. And these free radicals come from smoking, from the air, from the water that we drink, from our diets, etc., etc. And once they accumulate, they accumulate over time, and ultimately the damage that they do is reflected on our mitochondrial health. For those of you that don't know, mitochondria are basically the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria utilize oxygen and produce energy at a cellular level. So hypothetically, if you would have a stretched out heart, which means your VO2 max is big because you did a lot of cardio, but if your mitochondria are very small and very few, you're likely not able to utilize that oxygen as well as you potentially could. Thus, your health is lesser, your cardiovascular system is not as good. So furthermore, guys, what we need to know is that there are two types of muscle fibers. There's type 1 or slow twitch muscle fibers and type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers. Just as the name suggests, the slow twitch muscle fibers are those that, they're responsible for slow movements, whereas the fast twitch muscle fibers are those they're responsible for very powerful movements, for movements that require or have a lot of resistance, such as the strength training. So the reason why these two muscle fibers are so important because they have a lot of mitochondria in them. Although the slow twitch muscle fibers have slightly more mitochondria, it's still very important to take care of the mitochondria in the fast twitch muscle fibers. And why is this important? Well, when you think about it, whenever you see an old person, one of the first things that comes to mind is the fact that they're very, very slow. Right? And that means that the fast twitch muscle fibers are those that deteriorate first as we grow old, which ultimately means that we're losing mitochondria, we're losing ability to produce energy at a cellular level. Additionally, this means that we are not able to do any fast movements. For example, if you see an old person, they fall, if they're not strong, they're very likely to break a hip or break another bone. And although though loss of skeletal muscle mass is correlated with loss of bone mineral density, it is still more likely the case that that these old people, they cannot react too soon as soon as they fall, in order to put themselves in a position to fall just in a better way, or the muscles that they have, that they don't have enough muscle strength in order to keep their bones in place. Thus they break. And injuries such as fractures are also linked to lower longevity and increase of chronic illness and things like that. And this makes a lot of sense. We don't actually need science for some of these things, because when you think about it, if you fall, you break a hip, you cannot move anymore. You cannot move on your own. Your physical activity, your physical levels go down. Your well-being goes down. You become unhappier, which ultimately is going to make you die sooner. There's no doubt about that. So guys, if you actually want to grow to an old age and actually be energetic, have sex drive, just feel amazing and not dependent on other people to take care of you, then you absolutely must start training for strength. Finally, guys, for those of you that are watching that are 50, 60, 70 years old, if there's any one of you like that, don't hesitate to start resistance training right now. You can lift weights, you can do workouts at home, whatever it is. But trust me, cardio is just not going to cut it. You need resistance. And although I haven't actually worked with people that were that old and helped them achieve another level of strength and muscle mass, I do definitely know from case studies and people I've talked to that is possible. Even if you're 70 years old, you are able to do this. So don't hesitate and start lifting. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, put a like, put a subscribe, and hit that bell button. You can also follow me on my Instagram page where I put in a lot more videos of my daily life and things like that. So the link is going to be in the YouTube description. So if you enjoyed this one, hope I see you in the next one, and take care, guys. Peace.